Once again, welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. I'm very glad that you are watching this live stream if you are doing so right now, and I will start right away by looking at Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is performing, and I think it is very interesting to take a look at. And what we are seeing is, as we saw yesterday, I draw a inverse head and shoulders pattern, but I decided to draw the inverse head and shoulders pattern after the live stream a little bit different to take a closer look at a possible way to look at it. And what we are seeing over here is this inverse head and shoulder playing itself out by almost breaking above the upward sloping resistance line that we are seeing that is being created over here due to this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And you can take a look at this line is the small dotted green line that we are seeing over here. If you did not realize, I'm talking about this dotted line that you're seeing on the upper area. That is the upward sloping resistance line that we are looking at right now, and it's also, you could say, the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And what I personally think that is very interesting, very important to take a look at is if Bitcoin right now will break above this neckline, find support on top of it, and if Bitcoin does so, we will be seeing a move towards the upside getting created, especially because right now we are trading right underneath this key level of upper resistance at approximately $41,000, and right now we are trading at the $40,000 level of support and resistance. And what you can see immediately is that this dotted red line is also a major level of important resistance if Bitcoin breaks even further down. So I will be placing this support and resistance line as well, just so you have a better look at where we are currently trading at. We are finding support on top of this level of support and resistance, and personally I think that this is just absolutely marvelous to take a look at. And as I said yesterday during the live stream as well, it is very important to take a look at the possible breakout towards the upside, but as well at the possible breakout towards the downside if Bitcoin is having a type of dead cat bounce or another type of fake breakout. But I personally think that if we see this head and shoulder playing itself out, if Bitcoin finds support on top of this neckline, and after that it goes up towards it breaks out towards the upper area, it will be absolutely amazing. And yes, I think this pattern will be playing itself out. Of course, it is just a matter of time. But let's take a look at the EMA ribbon, and what you're seeing over here is something absolutely important and marvelous. It is absolutely marvelous because what you're seeing is that right now, for the very first time, the longs are taking over the shorts after this long period of downward momentum. We saw that the EMA ribbon acted as upper resistance, and we had multiple times when we were rejected by the EMA ribbon and we went further below, and once we tried to go above the EMA ribbon, we were rejected once again, as we could see in the past. But right now something very interesting is going on, because we are right now finding support not just on top of the EMA ribbon. As you could see over here, we are trading actually above the EMA ribbon. I think this is of utmost importance that we were able to break above the EMA ribbon, that the EMA ribbon had a momentum switch, that the longs are taking over the shorts, and that right now we are trading above the EMA ribbon, because this will be major momentum towards the upside that will be created, of course, if this lasts for a certain period of time. Yes, we all needed to go up, and welcome to the live stream, Nicola. I'm very glad you're watching the live stream right now. And what we are seeing is absolutely marvelous. That is that the EMA ribbon is actually acting as support, of course, on the Bitcoin compared to the US dollar on the 2-hourly time frame, because I'm looking at this at the 2-hourly time frame right now, because I think this is a level of utmost importance to take a serious look at right now, just on a lower time frame, to take a look at what the possible trading opportunities will be for Bitcoin. And yes, let's discuss what the possible move towards the upside will be if it breaks out of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So let's select the beginning of the neckline all the way to the lowest point of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, and if Bitcoin breaks out approximately here, we will be seeing this huge move towards the upside getting created of approximately, let's take a quick look, 15 of almost 16%. And I think this is especially a very well and potential move for Bitcoin, because we are seeing right now that Bitcoin could be able to break above this neckline, find support on top of it as I discussed before, and after that we will be seeing this 16% move towards the upside, and that would be meaning that Bitcoin will get all the way up and find support on top of this $46,000 level. And I think that if we see this huge momentum towards the upside, we will be heading even further up towards the $50,000 level, especially because the breakout will for sure take a lot of attention of the main public that is not right now interested in crypto due to the crash. They are all freaking out, and I personally think we were able right now, as I said yesterday, we were able to buy Bitcoin with a high sale price on the Bitcoin price action, and we were able to buy Bitcoin during the sale. And if you did not buy this dip, you will be unfortunately buying it higher up once Bitcoin breaks out towards the upside. And that is why I will taking a look at the daily time frame as well, to take a look where the moving averages stand, and I will be removing as well this over here. Oh no, but before, I wanted to show you what the possible move towards the downside would be as well if Bitcoin breaks out towards the downside instead of towards the upside. So, Snicker Nil Data, thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm very happy that you are joining us and you would like me to take a look at Holo is the new Doge. So I will be taking a look at Holo just in 1 second. So thank you very much for requesting a cryptocurrency to take a look at, and that is what I will be doing shortly. So let's take a look over here, and what you could be seeing is not just this inverse head and shoulders pattern, but you could also see this trend line towards the upside already getting created on the Bitcoin chart and on the 2-hourly time frame, and that's a possible moves towards the upside like this if Bitcoin stays above this trend line, where we already have seen 2 touch points getting created, one and second one over here. Almost 3 times we are already retesting this upward sloping support line. If we break towards the downside and we find support once again on top of it, it would be very likely that we will not only break out above the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern, but we will be also finding support on top of this upward sloping support line, and that would mean that a confirmation of this uptrend is actually getting started. So that is something very, very important to take a look at, and it is a pattern that you must be for sure just monitoring right away. So let's get further on the possible price targets towards the downside. So yes, we could be breaking further below towards the downside. We cannot spot any type of ascending or descending triangle. You could say possibly some people would draw a ascending triangle like this. I personally don't think that that is possible. I would say that it is more a type of a ascending wedge pattern that we are seeing that could possibly break out as well towards the upside. So if you take a look at this pattern, it is very likely that Bitcoin, if it stays in between this upward sloping resistance and this upward sloping support line, if it stays inside of this pattern, and that it will break out towards the upside as well. So this is also a possible breakout scenario for Bitcoin, and that is why Bitcoin is looking so bullish right now at this certain moment and period of time. But if we break out towards the downside, we do not find resistance on top of this upward sloping support line that I showed you before, this over here. If we break below it, I think that we will be possibly seeing a retest of this downward sloping support line of the previous trend. It acted as a major level of resistance during this downtrend during the past couple of weeks. We could see that there were many touch points on this downward sloping resistance, and that we were rejected multiple times once we tried to get above this major level of downward sloping resistance. And right now I'm hoping to, if Bitcoin breaks out towards the downside, that we will see a breakout towards the downside, find support on top of the downward sloping support line, or we will be finding support on top of the orange box. And as I said before, this is it's a key level of support and resistance, this orange box over here. So I think that if Bitcoin breaks out towards the downside, that we will be holding on top of this level, and that would be approximately above the $33,480. And for sure it could be breaking out even further down, but it won't be breaking out, of course, that's my personal opinion, but below the $30,429 if it breaks out towards the downside, especially because if we take a look at the past, I will be switching towards the 4-hourly time frame. What you're seeing is a major data that is showing us that this was a major level of support and resistance, because we traded on top of it several times, underneath it, and also inside of the orange box. And that is why I personally think that we will be holding strong on this certain and particular level. So let's take a look further at the possible scenarios for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And yes, this move towards the upside, it is a 16% move. If you don't want to miss out, I will tell you, if you do not have your own personal account on Femex, Bybit, or any type of leverage exchange, go down below to the descriptions and you will find a link to sign up for Femex and make this trade a possible trade of 15%, where you could make a lot of money after we see the confirmation of Bitcoin by finding support on top of the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. And why I wanted to look at the daily chart is because I wanted to enable the moving averages, especially the 200, 150 day moving average, because I think this is of utmost importance that Bitcoin will be breaking out above the 200 day moving average before heading further, because the moving averages serve as major levels of support and resistance. And that is just something absolutely important to take a look at, because once we find support on top of the 200 day moving average, the move towards the upside will be inevitable, because this will be serving as well as support instead of resistance, as we are seeing right now. So I am taking a look at the moving averages, and I'm seeing this personally looks for me like a possible upper resistance that we have to break above before heading further up and breaking above the 50 and 100 day moving averages as well. The 50 day moving average, just for the record, is the green one, and the 100 day moving average is the yellow one, and the 200 day moving average is the red line that we are seeing over here. So yeah, we are still underneath this major level of resistance at $42,898, and for sure it is of utmost importance to also well break above this white line of upper resistance before heading further. But as well, the 200 day moving average is something you will have to take a close look at. And yes, let's go to the 4-hourly chart, and what we are seeing over here is that the moving averages are actually serving as support instead of resistance. Especially the 50 day moving average is right now a key level of support where we are trading right on top on, and this is just of utmost importance to stay above the 50 day moving average on the 4-hourly time frame before heading further up and breaking out of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So yes, for sure this will serve as a major level of support and will give Bitcoin possibly enough strength to break above the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I will be taking a look at the MACD as well, just lastly before I go further to Holo and other type of coins. And what we are seeing over here is that we are having almost a crossover on the MACD, and once the crossover happens, it is very likely that a possible breakout towards the downside will be happening, especially if we see a small momentum towards the downside getting created. But if it is just for a short period of time, it could be possible that we will still see a Bitcoin move towards the upside being created and even more momentum towards the upside getting started. And if this happens, it is for sure an indicator that we will see Bitcoin heading right away straight up instead of towards the downside. But before doing so, we will retest this level of support where we're currently trading at, and I think that is just of utmost importance. So if we take a look at the MACD is actually telling us that it is possible that we will see downwards momentum being created, but right now I am still monitoring this 50-day moving average if it holds as support. So that is just something very important to me. And take a further look at what we are seeing over here. And on the comment sections, we're also seeing that Snicker030 wanted me to take a look at Holo, if Holo will be the new Doge coin. And Dogecoin, of course, I am not a huge fan of coins without fundamentals, and I will take a look at what it possibly could be becoming in the upcoming years, because I am a major fan of a coin flip. If you are able to buy a coin, make the most amount of profits of it, and after that sell the particular coin that you bought, I think that is for sure something you don't want to miss out on. And that is why I particularly think that Doge has a lot of potential, but maybe Holo does as well. So let's take a look at Holo. And I know that Holo has not that big of a market cap, but it is of utmost importance to take a look as well at the possible breakout towards the upside. We are seeing Holo at rank 55 of the top 100 coins, and it has a $1 billion market cap. And as you can see, it had a huge breakout towards the downside after a major run up towards the upside, and it was quite a deep pullback that we saw on the Holo chart, and right now it could be a possible breakout that we are seeing. So let's take a look at the Holo chart on TradingView, and what we are seeing is that we have right here the Holo compared to USD Tether, and as well the Holo compared to Bitcoin chart. And what is very important, this is not what, no, we are not able to see the compared to Bitcoin chart for Holo. Let's take a quick look compared to Binance coin. No, I will be just giving a potential analysis on Holo. So you wanted me to, Jonathan, hi, welcome to the live stream. Very glad you are enjoying the live stream so far, and you would like me to say when you will be able to enable a stop loss. I will be looking at that just shortly before heading further with Holo, just to take a look. If you would like to enter this possible trading opportunity towards the upside, it depends as well on how much leverage you will be using during this possible trade towards the upside. But if you are using a low amount of leverage, I personally think that that is something I would do if this pattern breaks out towards the upside. But especially what I personally think that would be a major level of support, where if we see a pullback heading, if you are trading with a low leverage, this is a potential great level to place your stop loss at $33,480. But otherwise, the $35,500 is as well a major level of support. As we could see in the past, it supported as well the left shoulder just for a period of time. We saw this pullback of the right shoulder as well. We did stay above the $35,000. So personally, I think this is just the right way to place your stop loss, would be at approximately $33,000 for me, for sure, if you're using a low amount of leverage. But if you are using a higher leverage, I personally would enter the trade right away before even heading further up and finding support on top of the upward sloping resistance where we're currently trading underneath. And that is of course just my personal opinion. This is more of a high risk trade, so I would be as well for sure understanding if you would like to wait and place your stop loss once we see a retest on top of the upward sloping resistance and finding support on top of it before heading further up. But that is just my personal opinion, of course. And as I said, a stop loss would be, for my personal opinion, a stop loss is perfectly placed at the $33,480, but you have to do your own due diligence as well. I hope you enjoyed my feedback on the stop loss you wanted me to look at. And what we are seeing over here on the Holo chart is this huge momentum towards the downside getting created. I will also enable the daily candles just to have an even better look at this breakout towards the downside, and I will be measuring it as well. And what you are seeing right away is that from the beginning, from the very top on the all-time high of Holo towards the low, it was an almost 80% pullback that we saw on the Holo chart. And of course, a trend reversal is inevitable at this certain moment. That is my personal opinion. Just one quick second, because I will be drinking a sip of water before heading further. And what you're seeing right here is that actually we already saw, after this 70% drop from this all-time high towards this low that is created over here, before we saw this trend reversal on Hollow, what we are seeing is actually something very important, is that actually we are already seeing a bounce towards the upside getting created of approximately, let's take a quick look. That's not possible. 80%. I do not think this is the right measurement. It is saying that this is an 80% move towards the upside. I personally think this is just quite crazy. So, okay. I'm personally quite in shock about this measurement tool. I do not understand why it's saying that this is an 80% move towards the upside, especially because we saw that from the beginning of the all-time towards the downside, we were measuring this, and it told us that it was an almost 79% drop towards the downside that we saw in the price action of Hollow, and right now it is telling us that it is an 80% move towards the upside. So I think it's just incorrect what we are seeing on the measurement tool. But for the certain moment, let's take a look at Hollow and how it is looking currently. And I will be right now on the daily time frame enabling the moving averages, and we are right now finding support for the very first time on top of the 200-day moving average. Hollow did not went even further below, so it was supported by the 200-day moving average, and that's of utmost importance, of course. And right now it's trading underneath the 150-day moving average. And before heading even further, I think it will be finding support on top of this 3 moving average before heading even further. So yeah, for sure that we will be seeing a price action of Hollow towards the upside. I am just not a huge fan of Hollow, especially because I do not know if Hollow has enough fundamental value to become the next top 10 cryptocurrency in the current market. And I think there are other projects that have just way better fundamentals at this certain moment than what Hollow does. But that's for sure just something I personally think. But if you are very interested in Hollow and you think this will be a potential great profit to risk evaluation, if this right now is the perfect opportunity to buy, especially because if you take, for example, if you take in account that the losses that you will be probably making won't be that much if it goes even further down, because I personally think that it isn't a coin that will be just disappearing out of the cryptocurrency space and just vanishing out of this vast landscape inside of the market. That won't be happening with Hollow. But if it drops even further down, especially because we already saw an 80% drop towards the downside, it won't be that big. It won't be going even further down. This, personally, I think it is a great opportunity right now to buy Hollow before it's heading further up. And even when it does find support on top of the moving averages, we will for sure see a huge move towards the upside getting created. So let's take a look at the 4-hourly time frame for Hollow, and as well enabling the RSI. What we are seeing on the RSI is actually something very important to take a look at, because on the RSI went above the dotted white line, and once the RSI does so, it is very possible that we will see a reversal on the price action of Hollow. So we will see a small light momentum towards the downside getting created, especially because the RSI tends to stay inside of the purple area, and if it breaks out above and underneath the dotted lines, most of the times it goes straight back inside of the purple area. As you could see before, many times before, once it broke out towards the downside, you saw immediately that the price action went up, and you saw that as well on the chart, that we saw a light price action towards the upside. So currently, if you would like to buy Holo at this certain moment, especially for Snicker030 who wanted me to look at this, I would be waiting for the RSI to recover, to stay inside of the purple area, because once it does so, it would be a better buying opportunity, because then you would see where Holo is actually going to find major levels of support and resistance, and that could be somewhere approximately at around $0.0088. So that is dollar cents, of course. And you would like me to talk as well about Medic. For sure, I'm a huge Medic fan, Snicker030. I'm very glad you requested once again another coin that I am very passionate about. But my personal opinion for sure for Holo for this certain moment is just that you have to wait before the RSI gets inside of the purple box if you would like a better buy target or buying opportunity for Holo, because we will see for sure momentum towards the downside getting created. Further, let's take a look at, just lastly, I wanted to enable the EMA ribbon, and what we are seeing on the EMA ribbon is something absolutely marvelous, is that actually the longs are taking over the shorts. It could be for a short possible move towards the upside, as we saw previously as well happening during this downtrend, but especially because we are right now seeing this V-shaped recovery of this pattern, I personally think that the EMA ribbon will serve as major support right now if it breaks towards the downside, especially because we saw on the RSI that it is possible that the price of Holo will trade towards the downside during the next couple of hours, because the RSI went above the white dotted line. And that is just an important major factor to take a look at. And finding support on top of the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame is also something very important to take a look at. And if we see a retest of the EMA ribbon by finding support on top of it, that would mean for me personally that we will be seeing a huge momentum towards the upside getting created. And as you can see, the EMA ribbon is actually having almost a crossover, and the longs will be taking over the shorts shortly. So that is something to take a look at and monitor very closely. So you Jelly Brew, can we take a look at XRP? Yes, I will be taking a look at XRP in just a moment, but before heading towards XRP, I will be looking at Matic for sure. And if you are liking the content so far, do not forget to hit that subscribe button below in the description section. And as well, if you would like to make a possible trade or even buy a spot, buy your cryptocurrencies as a spot instead of trading with leverage, you can use the links down below, and you can earn up to $2,000 deposit bonus down on Femex and up to $1,610 on Bybit. And also Gato is a very good and very important leverage trading exchange where you can also buy your spot positions. They have really good fees for their transactions. I particularly think they're just a great exchange. It works it is very easy for the overall users. It is very common for users. They also have their own token, Gate token. Maybe you have heard about it. So if you would like to take a look at Gato, don't forget to use the description link down below. You will be supporting the channel by doing so. So let's take a look at Matic before heading further towards XRP. And we are taking a look at Matic over here. And what you're seeing is that we broke above the upward sloping support line from yesterday's video. And I think this is just of utmost importance because we saw this small accumulation over here. The longs were taking over the shorts. And right now, what I personally want for Matic is to retest this upward sloping support and finding support on top of it instead of breaking below this upwards sloping support line. And as you can see, this is a major level of utmost importance because this upward sloping support line of upward sloping resistance, as it served before, has already seen several touch points in the past and is actually very important and key level of support and resistance. And right now Polygon broke above this major level of upward sloping resistance, and I'm personally waiting for it to find support on top of it. And yes, for sure, we will be seeing this happening on the Matic network chart. And let's take a look what a possible price action would be. So I think right now we are not seeing any type of particular pattern playing itself out, and you are not able to find enough touch points to see a broadening wedge or a parallel channel being created. But if it stays inside and on top of this upward sloping resistance line, support line, and finds support on top of it, I think personally that would be a great opportunity to accumulate even more Matic if you already have so. And if you do not have Matic but you are interested in actually purchasing Matic, this is a great place to purchase Matic for sure. So for the Matic price action, we're taking a look at this. Also the shorts, the longs are taking over. The shorts, we found support on top of the EMA ribbon, as you could see over here. After that, a momentum towards the upside was getting created. And let's take a look at the RSI. So the RSI right now is actually almost above the dotted line. So a move, once it breaks out above the dotted line, price action towards the downside will be inevitable. And what I'm personally waiting for, as I said before, is for Matic to find support on top of this upward sloping support line. So for sure, this is something very important, and as well to find support otherwise on top of the EMA ribbon. That is something you would like to take a look at as well. So are we spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence? No, we aren't. So right now it's just looking fine for the Matic chart compared to the relative strength index. So that is something I personally think is just very good to take a look at. And as well, I will be enabling the daily time frame on the Matic compared to US dollar chart. We are currently seeing we are breaking above, as I said, above this upward sloping resistance, maybe finding support on top of it by closing the daily candle on top of this upward sloping resistance and finding support on top of it. But also what I wanted to take a look at is actually the moving averages and where they are currently trading at. And as you can see, once we broke out towards the downside on the Matic chart, we found support on top of the 50-day moving average. And as I said before during my live streams, the moving averages serve as major support and resistance areas, and we are seeing that Matic is actually getting supported by the 50-day moving average. And this in particular means for me that it is just a very healthy setback, and for sure that there is enough resistance, enough support underneath. If Matic tends to break out towards the downside, it will be not just supported by all these levels of previous support and resistance, but it will also be supported by the moving averages on the daily time frame. So that is something I in particular think is looking very good on the Matic chart. And let's take a look at the Matic compared to Bitcoin chart and how it's actually doing right away. And I will be disabling the moving averages. I will be heading towards the 4-hourly time frame, and you can see over here I personally was waiting for Matic to go once again below, retesting this upward sloping support line over here, and after that heading further up. But Matic decided to break further up, creating this V-shaped pattern and actually not making a symmetrical triangle. So what we are currently seeing is that we are seeing this huge touch points, this huge pattern towards the upside getting created, and it is a possible move that will be just heading even further and further up. And I personally think that's just amazing to take a look at. So yes, let's see where we will be finding probable supports and resistance by placing the Fibonacci just a little bit different. And what you're seeing is that we are right now currently underneath the 1 Fibonacci is acting currently as upper resistance, and if we break above it and find support on top of it, we will not be only trading above this all-time high compared to Bitcoin, but we will be also heading, I personally think, towards new higher levels before heading back down. But of course we could be rejected by this 1 Fibonacci level of resistance, upper resistance, and heading back down to retest this upward sloping support, as I previously wanted Matic to do so, because if it once again finds support on top of this upward sloping support line, it is just of utmost importance, because it is confirming that this is a trend line of utmost significance, but also a trend line where you would like to take a look at if you draw it even further, where the possible price action could be heading towards. And I think an exponential growth, if we will be forming a, for example, right now, if we are retesting this major line over here at the 1 Fibonacci level, but if I draw, instead of the Fibonacci level, I draw this trend line over here all the way to here, and I extend this upward sloping support line just like this, taking in account that it doesn't switch, and I will be extending this one as well, we will be seeing a huge possible ascending triangle playing itself out on the Matic chart. And I for sure think once it breaks out above this pattern, we won't be seeing only a huge momentum towards the upside being created compared to Bitcoin having a lot of strength. It will also for sure be a part of the, for example, price action of Matic, but this pattern, I think we will stay inside of this pattern before heading even further up. So I personally think that we will be rejected by this upper level of major resistance, because we saw over here we got already rejected once, so it would be very likely that we will be heading back down, finding support on top of this upward sloping support line before breaking out above this horizontal level of resistance and heading even further up. So of course that is my personal opinion, and thank you very much for Snicker Nildeiter. You are very nice to me and very kind, and thank you for supporting the channel for sure. And if you are liking the content so far, don't forget to give a like to this live stream for sure. And let's take a look a little bit further at XRP compared to Bitcoin and XRP compared to the US dollar. I'm very sorry, I am kind of ticklish in my nose, so it might look a little bit weird, but I hope you understand. So XRP, let's take a look at XRP. What we are seeing here is actually all these lines are drawn over here by myself, but I will be disabling these lines. I will be also disabling this uptrend, because we already saw this huge downward momentum getting created. And what I personally think is of utmost importance right now, right away on the XRP chart, is that we are actually trading underneath this major level of support and resistance, as you could see over here. And that is something I in particular am very monitoring very closely on my XRP price analysis, because you could see that we were able to find support on top of this previously over here, and it acted as well as a major resistance level at this certain point in time, approximately around April. And right now we are actually for the very first time once again trading underneath this major level of support and resistance, and we are finding it a little bit difficult to break above this level. We have already been rejected once, as you can see, by this horizontal level of resistance, but right now it might be possible that we will be entering the orange box right away. So what are we seeing on the XRP chart further? We are not recognizing any type of inverse head and shoulders pattern as we are seeing on Bitcoin. We are not seeing a ascending triangle. There are just not enough touch points to actually recognize this pattern. So you could be saying we are seeing a type of maybe broadening wedge, or a parallel channel towards the upside. So if it stays inside of this broadening, I will call it a broadening wedge, because a parallel channel has to be parallel to each other. So right now we are seeing a broadening wedge being formed on the XRP price action. And if we take a look at this, if it stays inside of this upward sloping support line, I think personally that it will be still a healthy momentum towards the upside that will be being created. But to be even looking at it more carefully, I will be enabling the moving averages on the daily time frame to take a look at where we are currently standing at, and I am seeing right away that we found support on top of the 200-day moving average once we broke all the way down. And this is just something of utmost significance, especially because right now we are currently finding it a little bit difficult to break above the, not just the orange line that acted as previous support and resistance, and it's a major level where you have to break above, but we are also trading underneath the 100-day moving average. That is the thin yellow line that you're seeing over here, and that is something of utmost importance because this will serve as well as a major level of resistance at this particular moment before heading further up and finding support on top of it. So that is something I personally think that's very important to take a look at. Right now, if we are able to break above the orange box, and if particular patterns will be formed on the 4-hourly time frame for sure right now, because on the daily time frame we are not seeing any type of pattern being created. And you are seeing right away that on the 4-hourly time frame you are also finding resistance by the 50-day moving average. That is the green thin line that you're seeing, and this will also act as a major level of resistance, not just the orange box, but also the moving averages on the 4-hourly time frame. So this is something to take a close look at that is of utmost importance. But if we look at the MACD, if we look at the EMA ribbon, the EMA ribbon is actually for the first time showing us that XRP is retesting the EMA ribbon for the very first time and is actually able to break almost above all the EMA ribbon's lines. And that is, for me personally, something of utmost importance, because if we see a momentum switch on the EMA ribbon and we find support on top of it instead of overhead resistance, the EMA ribbon will serve as support and will also be giving us enough strength to create a move towards the upside. So that is something very important to take a look at on the XRP compared to the US dollar chart. And what will the possible breakout outside of this broadening wedge look like? Let's take a look at what we possibly could be seeing if XRP breaks below and is once again rejected by this orange box. It is for me very likely to happen that XRP will break once again towards the level of resistance where it found resistance previously above the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. But also it is just very likely to break out all the way to the beginning of this pattern formation. So then we would be seeing XRP breaking once again all the way down to approximately $70. But right now, if it breaks out towards the upside and finds enough strength to break out or stay inside of the orange box and eventually break out of this ascending resistance line of the broadening wedge, we would be seeing a possible move towards the upside getting created. And how big is this move actually going to be? So let's take a look, and I will be measuring it just not that big, just like this, because if it retests this broadening wedge, this ascending level of resistance of the broadening wedge, and is rejected, after that you will be placing the measurement tool a little bit different. It will be a higher move that will be getting created. But right now, let's take a look at just this possible small move towards the upside of approximately, let's take a quick look, 25%. So that is just, of course, absolutely amazing, because then you would be seeing XRP once again trading at approximately $1.55. And that is of utmost importance before it will be heading even further. But if it is rejected by this major level of support and resistance, as you can see previously, we traded inside of this support and resistance underneath, but as well on top we found support on it for several times, as you could see over here as well. So this is a major level of important support and resistance, and that's actually as well why I will be placing for the near future as well a orange box, so we can take a look at this as a major level of support and resistance and not as a regular level of support and resistance. So you are seeing that the possible price action would be towards the $1.55. If XRP is able to break above or inside the orange box, that would be absolutely marvelous, because then we would be seeing XRP finding support on top of it and heading even further up. But right now, I personally think that we could be possibly getting rejected by the orange box because it served as a major level of support and resistance, as you could see before, because we had several touch points. And I would be personally waiting for XRP to find support on top of this ascending resistance and finding support on top of this, and actually turning it as a ascending support line instead of a ascending resistance line. So that is something very important to take a look at. So we could be seeing a possible move towards the $1.55, and after that a breakout towards approximately, let's take a look, $1.36. That is my personal opinion for sure on the XRP chart. And let's take a look at the XRP compared to Bitcoin and how it's actually performing right now. What you're seeing over here is, yes, we are seeing on the XRP compared to Bitcoin a inverse head and shoulders pattern that this could be telling us that we are seeing a trend reversal getting created and a possible move towards the upside. So if XRP is able to break out of this neckline of this ascending triangle, the move towards the upside will be meaning that XRP will once again enter above this upward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it, and actually confirming that XRP once again entered this uptrend. And if it does so, I think it is of utmost importance, especially because if you take a look at the past, this is a major level of upward sloping resistance right now and would serve also as a major level of support if XRP decides to break above it, because we had multiple touch points, as you could see, and that is something of utmost significance. So compared to Bitcoin, I would like to enable as well the moving averages, and what we're seeing is that we are finding support on top of the 100-day moving average once XRP broke towards the downside, and also the wick found support on top of it, but it also is right now finding support on top of the 50-day moving average. That is the green thin line that you are seeing over here, and is currently trading right underneath. So that is something personally I think is of utmost importance. If we would like to head even further, the moving averages have to be for sure underneath the XRP compared to Bitcoin candles instead of above. So I really hope you enjoy the content so far, and if you do so, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and even that bell notification if you would like to stay up to date for the upcoming weeks about what the possible price action of XRP would look like, or any type of cryptocurrency actually. So this is for sure something very interesting to take a look at on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin. We are finding support on top of the moving averages. That is for sure something very interesting. And of course, we are seeing this inverse head and shoulders pattern getting created on the 4-hourly time frame. And I will be also enabling the MACD to take a closer look at. And what you're seeing over here on the MACD is actually that we had a previous momentum towards the downside that lasted quite a long time. And we are seeing that the crossover on the MACD is not there yet. So this could possibly mean that we will see this breakout during the upcoming hours happening on the XRP chart, and XRP actually breaking above this upward sloping resistance and finding support on top of it. And that would mean that we will see a confirmation of XRP that has actually entered uptrend once again. And for now, I personally think that that is just something of utmost importance before heading even further up and seeing any type of pattern that we could be recognizing. So far, so good. This is what I personally think about XRP. The MACD is actually telling us that a crossover is not there yet. If a crossover happens, we will be very likely seeing a momentum towards the downside being created, as well the strength of Bitcoin of XRP compared to Bitcoin actually going down a little. But if it breaks towards the downside, it won't be breaking even further down underneath the 0.382 Fibonacci level. If you ask me personally, I think this is a major level of support and resistance. And as you could see as well on the daily time frame, if we break out towards the downside, there are a lot of moving averages actually providing as major levels of support underneath. So that is personally what I think what XRP looks like for this particular moment. So that is just what I wanted to tell you, and I will be heading towards the XRP compared to US dollar chart before I will be talking about a different type of cryptocurrency, because I wanted to enable the RSI and taking a look at how it is actually looking. And what you're seeing is that the RSI is not yet above the dotted line, not either on the lower part, on the upper part of the purple box. And if the RSI stays inside of the purple box and moves towards the upside, for sure the price action of XRP will be as well towards the upside, and that is just something that will be giving XRP probable enough strength to find support inside of this orange box that, as I said before, is a major level, a key level of support and resistance, as you could see previously. So, well, you Jelly Brew, thanks man, I think you will be soon. Just need to be consistent, keep it up. I will be consistent, I will be uploading way more, and I really hope that if you enjoyed all this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because that would be really amazing for me and for the channel overall, and that would be giving me a lot of motivation to give you even more updates about the cryptocurrency market in general. So this is XRP and how it is looking at right now, and we could be heading towards a different type of cryptocurrency right away before talking about a different thing. But what I wanted to show you is actually for sure this Ethereum chart, and what I wanted to take a look at is actually, you are seeing that I draw yesterday a inverse head and shoulders. This head and shoulders pattern did not break out as I thought it would be. It broke out way sooner, just after this small left shoulder, and we are seeing it right now like this. So I personally think this does not count as an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I don't think this right shoulder is actually as significant as it should be before we would see an inverse head and shoulders pattern. But what you're seeing is actually, yes, you are seeing a major V-shaped recovery on the XRP price action, and actually right now we are trading underneath this major level of support and resistance. We are trading underneath this level of resistance at approximately $2,912, and that is just of utmost importance to break above before heading further. And we do not have to forget that if XRP would like to recover during the upcoming weeks, it also will be finding major resistance on this orange box over here, and that is something I would like to take a very good look at before Ethereum will be heading even further up. So this is for sure what we are seeing right now on the Ethereum chart. I personally think that if we will be enabling the RSI, that will be a little bit on the higher side, as I already thought. This move towards the upside, finding support on top of the $2,912 is possible if the RSI moves even further up, maybe above the dotted white line. And once it breaks out towards the downside inside of this purple box, we will see the price action of XRP for sure being created towards the downside. And I personally think that it is very healthy if we would see XRP once again retesting this downward sloping this previous downward sloping resistance line of utmost significance. We saw that we were rejected several times before, as you could see over here, and if we find support on top of it, that would really mean that a trend reversal is created for sure right now. Breaking above this downward sloping resistance and breaking above it is just for sure already a sign that it's looking very strong for XRP. But not just so, that is important, it is also important that we retest this level, find support on top of it before heading even further. So that is my personal opinion, but for sure it could be quite difficult because we are having this orange box underneath us, and this orange box is actually very important because that's also a major level of support on the lower area at approximately $2,279. So that is for sure something you would like to take a look at. I personally think that this will be happening before even heading further up, because I do not think this inverse head and shoulders pattern actually played itself out as it should have been. So that's for sure just my personal opinion, and what we are seeing over here is nothing out of the ordinary on the XRP price action. We are seeing higher lows getting created and also higher lows on the RSI, so no bullish divergence is spotted, and we are not seeing either higher lows with a lower high on the RSI. So for now the RSI is looking great, And what I would like to enable is actually on the daily time frame, the MACD, to just spot how the momentum is looking right now on the daily time frame. And why are we looking at this on the daily time frame and not on the 4-hourly time frame? Because if we are seeing a bullish a crossover on the MACD on the daily time frame, it will be more significant, as everything is on the daily time frame. And right now what you're seeing is that we had a huge momentum towards the downside during the past couple of days. And if we see a crossover on the daily time frame, a move towards upside will be inevitable. And if we take a look at this construction of momentum towards the upside, you could be placing this like this to take a look at possible momentum towards the upside, and that would be giving a lot of strength to Ethereum to break out to a very high level possibly. So for sure, very excited to look at this crossover and how it will be playing itself out. If it will be a huge momentum towards the upside being created, maybe even going above this blue line that I draw on the MACD. But for sure, the MACD is looking great for Ethereum. If we are looking at Ethereum right now, the MACD is actually telling us that during the upcoming days, a crossover will be happening, and it could be a crossover that will be creating momentum towards the upside just for a certain period of time. But let's take a look at the XRP compared to Bitcoin chart, and right over there we are seeing something incredible happening, and that is just that we are right now finding support on top of the upward sloping resistance where we were trading underneath, but as well a upward sloping support line of utmost significance for the overall uptrend. We already saw several touch points in the past, as you could see over here, but we are seeing as well that once we broke below it, it was quite difficult before we actually got above this upward sloping resistance and found support on top of it, and right now we are currently doing so. So let's take a look at the daily time frame and see where we are standing, and especially taking a look at the moving averages, and you can see that Ethereum is actually far above the moving averages on the daily time frame. So this will actually serve as major levels of support and resistance if Ethereum decides to break even further below. So very sorry, I'm very ticklish today in my nose, so I hope that you don't mind. And I will be enabling the AMA ribbon, and as you could see, once we broke inside of the EMA ribbon, we actually broke through the first level. The EMA ribbon acted as major support, and we bounced right away straight up, getting away of the EMA ribbon, and actually the EMA ribbon served as a major level of support, as you could see over here. So that is something very important to take a look at, and we will also take a look at the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame. But right now, as you can see, the EMA ribbon served as major support on the daily time frame, so that is something important to take a look at. And on the 4-hourly time frame, we are seeing, of course, something of utmost importance, I think even more important than on the daily time frame. You could see that the EMA ribbon over here served as major upper resistance, while we saw the price action of Ethereum towards the downside, or the strength compared to Bitcoin in this case. And we are right now able to break above it and finding support on top of it, and we are seeing as well a crossover almost getting started on the EMA ribbon, and that is something of utmost importance, because if you see a crossover on the EMA ribbon, a momentum towards the upside will be created, because the longs will be taking over the shorts. As you could see over here, the shorts were taking over the longs. Over here you are seeing the shorts sign that was happening over there, and for sure this is of utmost importance for Ethereum to head even further up. But right now, what I'm personally very pumped about is that Ethereum found enough strength to break above this upward sloping resistance, and will be maybe finding support on top of it, and actually telling us that a momentum towards the upside, or a sign that Ethereum is re-entering that uptrend compared to Bitcoin. So that is something of utmost importance for sure, and something to take a look at for the upcoming days. But that is right now how it's looking over here compared to Bitcoin, with the EMA ribbon as well, and also on the RSI. So thank you very much for watching this live stream. If you enjoyed this live stream, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and even give me those thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. But if you are willing to make a trade on, for example, Ethereum, don't forget to use the links down below in the description, because you will be supporting the channel as well. So lastly, I wanted to talk about an article. I know lots of you do not want me to talk that much about articles, but I will be talking about them, just a small one, and that's actually not this one, but this one. Bitcoin price rebounds to 40k, Ethereum near 3k, is a bigger crypto rally looming. And for sure, this is a very important article. If you would like to read it on Cointelegraph, you will find this. It is on trending. Maybe you have already read it. And if you are not willing to read it by yourself, you can also just push the play button and it will read it out loud for you, if you are willing to just listen. But what I think is very important, what is important to observe during the upcoming days, and I think they actually noted it very clearly, and I'm looking at this type of major levels of support and resistance, and what they are actually telling in the foreseeable future. The two key things to observe for Bitcoin traders are exchange outflows and the $42,000 level. And I think that the 42,000 level is, yes, for sure, of utmost significance before we will see a rally towards the upside being created. So that is what I want to see on Bitcoin, breaking out of that inverse head and shoulders pattern, as we discussed before earlier during this live stream. And ideally, the 42,000 level holds and Bitcoin exchange outflows increase in tandem. And what are they actually trying to say with this increased levels of exchange outflows and inflows? That would mean that the confidence of investors in Bitcoin and the wealth at above $42,000 is rising. So yes, that would mean that the investors are once again confident. They are willing to invest in Bitcoin once again, and that is just something very, very good that would be happening if we see. But what we are seeing over here in this part of the article, I will just read this small part over here. What we are seeing is, secondly, the Bitcoin futures market has reset to a large extent. According to the data from bit.com, when Bitcoin crashed below the 30,000, the future market open interest dropped from 27 billion to 11 billion. This means that the future market is not overcrowded, which raises the probability of a more sustainable and gradual rally. So I think this is very important. That is why I want you to look at this article, because they're actually telling us that it is possible that we won't be seeing an exponential rally towards the upside getting created, but just a gradual rally during the upcoming months. And I'm for sure just very open to take a look at that possibility as well. And I am actually quite confident that the rally won't be exponential towards the upside, but it will be a rally in a more slower pace, because lots of people got very scared by the huge drop on Bitcoin's price action. And of course, I do understand that, but we have seen this before. And right now, as I said before as well, it is just a huge sale for Bitcoin. So if you are accumulating Bitcoin, as I am, as lots of crypto traders are, and as what you should be doing if you are looking at the future, that is of course my personal opinion, but you could do your own due diligence and find out that the facts are that Bitcoin will only be worth more and more in the upcoming years, and that this right now is just a huge opportunity to buy the dip instead of have a lot of fear and not that much trust in the overall cryptocurrency market. So thank you very much for looking at this live stream. I really enjoyed you guys watching the live stream of today. I will be having a live stream tonight approximately around 8 o'clock UTC +2, so that is the Western European time. And I really I really hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel as well. So thank you very much once again for viewing this live stream, and have a nice day.